Imagine if everything you've ever tried to attract money into your life was missing a single secret ingredient, something so simple you already have it in your home, yet it carries a spiritual force capable of opening closed doors, dissolving invisible blocks, and multiplying the flow of prosperity all around you. Florence Scovel Shinn believed the universe doesn't just respond to what you think or say, but to the energy you activate in your field, with your presence, your intention, your smallest gestures. There exists an ancient ritual, guarded through generations, that unites the power of your spoken word with the most underestimated element of all: salt. Perhaps you've never thought of salt as anything beyond a kitchen staple, a flavor for your food, or something you pass by without a second thought. But what if I told you that this humble mineral holds within it an ancestral energy, a silent memory of all that the earth has witnessed, a living archive of vibration that can transform your relationship with money, protect your home, and unlock opportunities you once thought impossible? Salt is the quiet witness of history, present in the tears we shed, the sweat of our work, the oceans that surround us. Today, I'll show you how to use salt, simply, intentionally, and powerfully, to activate the hidden prosperity law, prepare your energetic field, and command money to enter and remain in your life. This isn't superstition nor empty magic, but a spiritual science tested by thousands who have seen their lives shift through the simplest of rituals. And just for a moment, let yourself wonder, what if the secret to your next breakthrough was already waiting for you on your kitchen shelf, ready to be awakened by your word? Think back to those moments when it felt like money was slipping through your fingers, no matter how hard you worked, as if unseen obstacles always blocked the flow just when things were about to improve. Maybe you've experienced those late nights running numbers in your mind, feeling the pressure of bills, the ache of wanting to give your family more, or that sense that abundance was always just out of reach. Maybe you've told yourself it's just the economy, or bad timing, or luck that never seems to turn in your favor. But what if beneath it all, your energy field was still carrying invisible residues, memories of lack, silent agreements with limitation, or even old stories from your family that continue to shape your prosperity even after you've worked to change your beliefs? Florence taught that true transformation starts inside, in the soil of your belief, but it manifests through outer rituals that give shape to your intention. Salt, in this journey, acts as a catalyst for change, a vibrational amplifier for your word, a seal for your decrees, a sacred bridge between your desire and the invisible field of opportunity. When you learn how to use salt correctly, things begin to align in ways that defy explanation. Doors open, the right people cross your path, ideas begin to flow like a river, and money, at last, finds its way to you, not by force, but by spiritual law. Today, I'll show you step by step how to prepare, declare, activate your field, and seal your results, so prosperity becomes not just a wish, but a constant reality that grows with you every day. Before we continue, I want to invite you into 3 powerful rituals that strengthen our collective prosperity field. First, write in the comments, "I activate the salt law." This isn't just a phrase, it's a vibrational command. When many people declare it together, we create a wave of prosperity that accelerates results for everyone. Every single comment, every word of intention becomes a spark in the field, igniting possibility, connecting you to others on this same journey. Second, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Each new subscriber expands our field, weaving you even closer to this growing circle of prosperity, where abundance circulates for all. No one is left behind. Here, every like, every share, every message is an offering, a thread in the tapestry we're creating together. You may never meet all the people walking this path with you, but their energy, their intentions, their victories amplify your own. This is the law of collective resonance. When many gather with a common goal, the field multiplies and everyone rises. And now, something special. You can also support this mission of spreading prosperity to the world by sending a super thanks. That's the heart icon right below the video. You can contribute with any amount, whether it's $1, $2, $10, or whatever your heart feels called to offer. The size of the seed doesn't matter. Every offering is received, blessed, and directed into the collective field of prosperity. Every seed, no matter how small, returns multiplied as opportunities, open doors, and unexpected blessings in your life. Becoming a channel member brings you even closer, giving you access to a private group, a community I'm building just for those who want to walk this path more deeply, receive advanced rituals, exclusive content, and participate in special experiences available only to our inner circle of prosperity. In this community, you'll find not just content, but real connection. A place to share, celebrate, and grow side by side with others who believe, just like you, that wealth is a birthright. What matters most isn't the amount, but the intention. Whether you support with a super thanks, become a member, leave a comment, or simply share your presence here, every action vibrates in the field and strengthens our collective movement for wealth. Each gesture is like a ripple in the water. What you send out always returns, multiplied and blessed when it is offered from the heart. Take a moment now, close your eyes, breathe deeply, and feel this energy reaching you. Imagine a current of light connecting you to every other person listening, a network of possibility pulsing and growing stronger with each new intention. Let the field expand, let new opportunities open before you, and know that your presence here is already the beginning of a new frequency of prosperity in your life. There is no action too small, no offering too simple. Every act is a key, every word a command, every breath a new invitation to abundance. If you felt the call, just stay with me. Next, I'll share with you a true story of transformation, so you can experience vividly how the salt ritual can open doors and create a new path for abundance in your own life. Sometimes all it takes is hearing how one life was changed to realize that yours can change too. If you're ready to believe, just for a few moments, that something different, something better, is not only possible but destined for you, keep your heart open. Breathe, sense the shift, and let's continue this journey together. The secret ingredient has been waiting for you all along. Now, let's awaken it, together. Just as we were preparing to go deeper, I received an email last week that seemed to arrive at exactly the right moment. A living testimony to how even the simplest ritual can open doors that once seemed locked tight. The message came from a subscriber named Daniel M., a 42-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina. His words carried that raw honesty of someone who's already tried everything practical and was finally willing to explore what logic alone could never explain. Daniel wrote, "I honestly never thought I'd be the kind of person writing an email like this. I'm not very spiritual, and I've always believed you just have to work hard, keep your head down, and things will work out. But the past few years, I felt like I was running on a treadmill, working overtime, sacrificing weekends, cutting every little expense, but still getting nowhere. Every time I thought I'd made progress, something would go wrong. A surprise car repair, a medical bill, or some family emergency. It always felt like there was some invisible hand holding me back, just out of reach from the kind of life I wanted to give my family." He explained how, a few weeks ago, after another sleepless night worrying about his finances, he watched one of our videos and decided, almost out of desperation, to try the salt ritual. But Daniel didn't follow the ritual exactly as I described it. He didn't hold the salt in his hands or light a candle. Instead, he found a small glass jar, no bigger than a shot glass, filled it with a spoonful of salt, and set it quietly on his desk next to his computer. Later, he found a miniature keychain bottle and filled it with salt too, letting it hang from his car keys. He didn't announce it to anyone. He simply whispered, "I activate the salt law. May abundance find its way to me and my home." Sometimes he would repeat it before leaving for work, or touch the tiny jar as he sat in traffic, imagining it collecting and dissolving old blocks and opening new doors. And if you feel inspired to do the same, or if you want a special jar to anchor your own ritual, I've added a link in the very first comment below this video. A small container from Amazon I recommend. It's optional, of course, but it can be a beautiful way to honor your practice. And every purchase through that link helps support this channel and the growing community we are building together. What moved me most was how Daniel made this ritual truly his own. He wrote, "I didn't feel anything magical the first time. Honestly, it felt awkward and I almost laughed at myself, but I kept going. I'd see the little salt jar every morning on my desk, and it was like a silent reminder to speak differently about money, to catch myself before complaining, and to imagine a new story for myself, even if I didn't believe it fully yet." And then, something shifted. About 2 weeks after starting his ritual, Daniel received a call from a company he had applied to months earlier, a logistics firm based just a few neighborhoods away from his house. The job had seemed like a long shot at the time. The company hadn't replied for ages, and Daniel assumed they'd hired someone else. But as it turns out, the person they had selected, someone who was all but guaranteed for the position, had unexpectedly pulled out at the last minute, leaving the company in a bind. They needed someone reliable, quickly. Daniel told me, "At first I didn't even realize how big this was. The salary was only about 10% higher than my old job, so at first glance, it didn't seem like a huge leap. But as I thought about it, I realized what this meant. The office was just 15 minutes from my house instead of an hour across town. I'd be able to spend more time with my kids, sleep better, and actually enjoy the weekends instead of recovering from the week." Suddenly, I saw that this was more than just about money. It was about having my life back. He described how he celebrated when he got the offer, feeling an outpouring of gratitude he hadn't felt in years. "I'm still not sure if it was all a coincidence or if the ritual really did set something in motion," Daniel wrote, "but I know one thing for sure. I'm not going to stop now." He now keeps a little salt in his car, on his desk at work, and even tucked away in his wallet. Small, simple reminders that abundance can be invited in, and that what matters most is his faith, not what other people think. A few folks at work have teased me or asked if I'm carrying good luck charms, but honestly, I don't care. What matters is how I feel, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like my life is moving in the right direction. Reading Daniel's story, I'm reminded that spiritual practice is never about perfection or impressing others. It's about claiming your own power, your own voice, and giving yourself permission to believe in new possibilities. Daniel's ritual with the salt was humble, unpretentious, and deeply personal, but it was enough to shift his energy, his focus, and, as life would have it, his reality. So if you ever doubt whether something this small could truly make a difference, let Daniel's journey remind you. Sometimes all it takes is a simple act of faith, repeated with sincerity, to begin changing everything. It doesn't matter if you keep your salt in a tiny jar on your desk, in a keychain, or hidden in your car. What matters is the intention behind it and the willingness to try. As you sit with Daniel's story, take a breath and imagine. What small ritual could you create today to invite prosperity into your own life? What act of faith, however humble, are you willing to make for yourself? Let's continue, step by step, discovering the roots and deeper meanings behind this practice so you too can anchor abundance in your daily life. your own way. If you felt something stir inside you as you listened to Daniel's story, know that this response is no accident. It's your own field recognizing a doorway, an invitation to move beyond what you've always known and begin a new cycle. Spiritual practice is never about rigid rules, but about finding what resonates, what feels alive, what calls you to participate rather than just observe. Maybe you're ready to bring this ritual into your own life now. Let me show you how simple and accessible it can be. So natural that you can weave it into your routine without effort or awkwardness, just as Daniel did. All you need is a small pinch of salt, a container of your choice, a glass jar, a tiny bottle, even a simple dish, or a small keepsake box. What matters most is that you choose something that feels personal, meaningful, and easy to keep close by. When you're ready, set aside a few quiet moments. Turn off distractions. You might want to play some gentle music, light a candle, or simply sit in stillness for a minute or two, letting the outside world fade into the background. Hold your chosen container in your hands or simply rest your fingers on it. Close your eyes if that helps you turn inward. Take a slow, deep breath. Let the air move in and out as if you are clearing space inside yourself for something new to arrive. Now, with the salt in your container, bring your attention to your intention. It can be a desire for financial freedom, a wish to attract new opportunities, a longing for peace of mind, or simply an openness to receive whatever blessings are meant for you. There are no limits and no right or wrong way to feel. Just let your desire rise, honestly, gently, as if you were speaking to a trusted friend. Whisper aloud or speak silently within yourself. I activate the salt law. I am ready to receive prosperity. I allow abundance to enter my life. I release old blocks and welcome new blessings. Let each word carry the weight of your sincerity. Picture the salt absorbing your words, holding them as a living prayer. Imagine, if you like, that the salt is a bridge, connecting your innermost wishes to the vast, responsive field of the universe. You might sense a tingling in your hands, a subtle warmth in your chest, or nothing at all. What matters is that you are present, intentional, and willing. Place the container somewhere meaningful, on your desk, by your bed, in your car, or even as a keychain you carry with you. Every time you see it, let it serve as a gentle nudge to realign your thoughts, to pause before complaining, to speak about money and opportunity as if they are friends on their way to visit. Each glance is a moment of reconnection, a chance to reinforce your command. If you wish, refresh the salt once a week or whenever you feel called. Dispose of the old salt with gratitude. Pour it into running water, scatter it outside, or simply say, "Thank you for what you carried. I now release you." This act of gratitude closes the energetic loop, signaling completion and readiness for the next cycle. There is no need to tell others or seek their approval. This is your ritual, your relationship with the field of abundance. Some may not understand, some may even tease or doubt, but your journey is not theirs to judge. Faith, after all, is deeply personal, a private conversation between you and the forces that govern your life. If you like, you can layer other intentions onto your ritual. Before a job interview, hold the salt and declare success. When paying bills, touch the container and affirm, "Every seed I plant returns multiplied." When doubt arises, whisper your command again, as often as needed. In truth, you may not feel an immediate, earth-shaking shift. The change often arrives quietly, like a gentle tide rising along the shore. But as the days pass, you'll begin to notice small things, a new idea, an unexpected refund, a feeling of lightness, synchronicities that guide you to the right place at the right time. This is the field responding, your intention taking root in the invisible, gathering momentum for visible change. As you make this ritual your own, remember, the most powerful transformations begin not with grand gestures, but with the willingness to honor a simple practice with your whole heart. Your field is listening, and so is the universe. So, take this moment, prepare your salt, set your intention, speak your command, and welcome the quiet magic that follows. Together, we are building a current of prosperity that lifts everyone connected to this field. Let's continue this journey and discover the deeper spiritual meanings that make the salt ritual such a potent force for those who are truly ready to receive. As you sit with your salt, holding the intention you've just set, you might find your mind wandering to a quiet question. Why does this work? How can something so simple as salt, this common mineral that sits in nearly every kitchen, play a role in changing your relationship with money, opportunity, or even your sense of self-worth? This is not just an act of symbolism or hopeful thinking. The deeper you look, the more you'll see that this practice is rooted in layers of wisdom, science, and the living memory of humanity's spiritual evolution. Let's begin with the oldest stories. In nearly every ancient culture, salt was seen as sacred, a symbol of incorruptibility, preservation, and purity. It was used in offerings to the gods, in treaties and covenants, even in the sealing of oaths. Why? Because salt doesn't rot, doesn't burn, doesn't spoil. It endures, holding the memory of oceans and the bones of the earth, connecting us to both the cycles of nature and the realms of spirit. In the Bible and other sacred texts, salt appears again and again. You are the salt of the earth. Let your speech be seasoned with salt. Every offering shall be salted with salt. These are not metaphors chosen by accident. They reveal an understanding that salt is a carrier of intention, a stabilizer of energy, and a physical anchor for the unseen. But the mystery goes deeper still. Modern science now knows that salt is essential to life. Your blood, your tears, your sweat, your very cells are bathed in saline, carrying electrical signals, balancing fluid, allowing thought and feeling to pass from neuron to neuron, heart to mind, spirit to body. Every time you speak, the vibration of your voice ripples through this salty medium, making your words not just air, but an energetic command encoded into matter. Salt in your body and your ritual becomes a bridge, connecting thought to word, word to action, action to result. Florence Scovel Shinn understood that spiritual law works through the most ordinary things. She wrote, "The invisible forces of life always work through the channels prepared for them." Salt, then, is not magic for magic's sake. It is the channel, the vessel, the amplifier for what you decide to create. Just as a radio must be tuned to a certain frequency to catch a signal, so too does your field respond when you introduce an element long honored for its purity and memory. You are not just placing salt on your table or your altar. You are programming your field, tuning your atmosphere, aligning your body and mind to receive what you have asked. Now let's go even further. Salt does not only preserve, it also purifies. It draws out what is stagnant, clears away what no longer serves. Across countless traditions, from the ancient Egyptians to Japanese Shinto to African and Native American ceremonies, salt has been sprinkled, dissolved, or carried to cleanse spaces, objects, and even the aura itself. When you bring salt into your ritual for prosperity, you are not just inviting in new wealth, you are dissolving the old contracts with lack, cleaning out the residue of ancestral fears, disappointments, and self-doubt that may have lived in your energy for years. Salt absorbs, neutralizes, and transforms. So your field is not just open to abundance, but cleared of the blocks that once repelled it. This is why so many people report subtle shifts when they begin this practice. A lightness in the air, a release of heaviness, a sense of space where there was once contraction. It's not just psychological, It's vibrational. Salt is a conductor, and when you set your intention, especially when you speak it aloud, it carries that instruction to the places you cannot see, the frequencies that shape the outcomes of your life. Some call it the subconscious mind, others call it spirit, or the quantum field. No matter the name, the result is the same. Your outer world begins to rearrange in response to the new blueprint you've drawn. But there is more still. When you engage in ritual, any ritual, you step out of the ordinary flow of time and enter the realm of the sacred. This is the zone where faith becomes fact, where possibility takes on substance. The simple act of preparing your salt, speaking your command, and returning to it day after day, even when you see no immediate result, is itself a message to the universe. I am willing, I am patient, I am committed. This consistency is not lost. It accumulates, like drops of water carving stone, gradually reshaping the landscape of your beliefs and your circumstances. Let's not forget the community. Remember that you are not alone in this practice. Right now, as you listen, there are people around the world performing their own rituals, holding their own intentions, anchoring their own salt as a beacon for abundance. Every time you comment, every time you share your journey or simply witness the journey of another, you become part of a collective current. Imagine thousands of invisible threads connecting all of us, each one a prayer, a wish, a decree, together forming a field of prosperity that grows stronger with every voice. This is not just theory. When you act as part of a group, your results accelerate, your field strengthens, and the universe seems to conspire on your behalf. We are tuning the same frequency, creating a resonance so powerful that it cannot help but produce results. Sometimes the field responds with small signs. A forgotten check arrives in the mail, a bill is less than expected, a stranger offers help, a moment of peace replaces worry. Sometimes it responds with breakthroughs that change the course of your life. An opportunity you never saw coming, a healing in a relationship, a job offer that seems almost miraculous. The ritual itself is not the cause, it is the doorway. It is your willingness to participate, to believe, to become a channel for the laws that have always governed creation, whether you were conscious of them or not. As you continue, you may wish to deepen your practice. Perhaps you add a spoken affirmation each morning as you see your salt. Maybe you anoint doorways or sprinkle a pinch near your front door as a gesture of welcome to abundance. Maybe you offer gratitude before meals, recognizing salt as a symbol of all that nourishes and preserves you. Perhaps you bless your bills before paying them, saying, "As I release, so I receive. This salt carries my blessing and multiplies my supply." Each of these acts is a micro-ritual, a tuning fork for your reality, a way to weave your intention into the fabric of daily life. And if you ever doubt, return to the root. Salt is not just matter. It is memory. It is message. It is the echo of all who have walked this path before you. In your bones, in your blood, in your spirit, there is an ancient knowing, one that remembers how to call forth what you need, how to clear what no longer serves, how to claim your right to prosper. The ritual with salt is simply the awakening of this wisdom, the calling forth of a forgotten technology that belongs not to a select few, but to anyone who is willing to try. So, as you continue to work with your salt, do so with reverence, with curiosity, and with the trust that something is moving, even if you cannot see it yet. Trust the process, honor the pauses, and keep showing up. The invisible is becoming visible, the possible is becoming actual, and the seeds you plant, no matter how small, are growing in the fertile soil of your intention. Together, we're not just practicing a ritual. We are participating in a lineage, a wave of change that echoes far beyond what any of us could accomplish alone. This is the mystery, the magic, and the science of spiritual law in action. Breathe that in. Feel the current growing stronger around you. Notice the subtle shifts in your energy, your thoughts, your expectations. Know that you are part of something ancient and unstoppable. Let's keep moving forward. There is more to discover, more to unlock, and more to receive as you allow the salt and your word to do their sacred work in your life. As you continue with your salt ritual, you may begin to notice something subtle and profound awakening within you. It might not happen all at once. There is rarely a thunderclap, a flash of instant fortune, or a sweeping change overnight, though miracles are always possible. Instead, the real magic tends to arrive in quiet, persistent waves, accumulating like soft layers of new soil over the roots of your life. One morning you wake up and realize the heavy feeling that used to haunt you each time you checked your bank account is a little lighter, a little less sticky. You glance at your salt on the desk or in your car, and rather than seeing an odd superstition, you feel a pulse of reassurance, a gentle nudge to expect something good. What's actually happening is more than psychological. With each repetition of your ritual, every time you bless the salt or whisper your command, you're not just hoping, you are literally recoding the energy field around you. Spiritual law does not respond to a single wish, but to repeated engagement. Your mind is being trained to seek evidence of abundance instead of lack. Your emotions start tuning themselves to the frequency of "it is possible," rather than "it never works out for me." It's like tuning an old radio. At first there's only static, but with each turn the signal gets clearer. What used to be background noise becomes a melody, a rhythm, a channel where new opportunities and ideas can finally break through. This shift is what Florence Scovel Shinn called a change in the pattern. The world, she wrote, is like a giant tapestry, and most of us spend years weaving and reweaving the same threads of belief, expectation, and self-talk, sometimes not even realizing that the pattern we're creating is what keeps us locked in a cycle of striving and disappointment. The salt ritual, when practiced with faith and consistency, is a way of cutting through those old knots, clearing away the tangles, and inviting in a new design, a pattern of increase, of openness, of overflow. The greatest challenge in any spiritual practice is not the ritual itself, but staying with it when results don't show up right away. Our culture is obsessed with instant gratification. We want proof before we commit, guarantees before we try. But spiritual law responds to faith, to the energy of continuing when there's no visible evidence. Each time you return to your salt, touching it, blessing it, even just glancing at it, you are casting a vote for the new reality, declaring to the universe, "I'm still here, I still believe, I am worthy of increase." Over time, these votes add up. They become the critical mass that tips the scale, the momentum that turns small changes into lasting transformation. Let's talk about what this looks like in real life. You may find, as the days pass, that you begin to act differently around money. Maybe you stop repeating the stories of lack that used to roll off your tongue. "I can't afford that. There's never enough. Something always goes wrong." Instead, you catch yourself mid-thought and gently redirect. "Abundance is on its way. My supply meets every demand. I am provided for in every season." At first it feels strange, like learning a new language. But with time, your old vocabulary of scarcity starts to fade, replaced by a new dialect of possibility. You might notice that you take more inspired action. Instead of procrastinating or feeling paralyzed by fear, you find yourself sending out a job application, making that phone call, or reaching out to someone who crosses your mind. You say yes to opportunities you would have ignored before. You look for ways to circulate money with joy instead of hoarding it in fear. Maybe you tip a little more generously, donate to a cause, or support a friend in need, trusting that whatever you send out will return multiplied. Sometimes the evidence is small, A parking ticket dismissed, a friend treating you to coffee, an unexpected discount at the grocery store. Sometimes the shifts are big. A debt paid off, a new stream of income, a relationship healed. Either way, you start to recognize that life is not random. The field is always responding to your frequency, bringing you more of what you dare to expect, what you practice inviting in. Of course, old doubts will still appear. You may have moments where you wonder, is this really working? Am I just fooling myself? That's normal. Every act of faith is met with resistance, not as a sign to quit, but as an invitation to go deeper. When doubts rise, return to your ritual. Hold your salt, close your eyes, breathe in the energy of all those practicing with you around the world, and declare your intention again. Each time you do, you build a stronger field, one that can withstand the storms of old beliefs and the noise of outside opinion. Here's something powerful to try. Keep a journal near your salt. Every day, jot down one thing, no matter how small, that arrived in your life with a sense of ease, blessing, or synchronicity. It could be a kind word from a stranger, an idea that solved a problem, or money that showed up in an unexpected way. Over time, these small notes become a tapestry of proof. They remind you, in your own handwriting, that your field is shifting, your prayers are being answered, and your life is unfolding in alignment with the spiritual laws you have activated. You might also choose to refresh your ritual from time to time. Perhaps you add a new affirmation. Money flows to me easily and joyfully. Or a blessing. This salt is a witness to my prosperity. It absorbs every old limitation and releases new opportunities. Maybe you place a pinch of salt by your front door, setting the intention that everyone who enters your home brings a vibration of abundance and kindness. Or you sprinkle a tiny amount in your wallet, carrying the memory of increase wherever you go. Remember, there is no wrong way to practice if you do it with sincerity. This ritual is not about superstition, but about aligning your whole being, mind, body, and spirit, with the invisible laws that have governed prosperity since the beginning of time. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that the spoken word is our wand, and the salt is the earth that receives our command. Every day you show up, you plant a new seed. Every repetition, you water it. Every act of faith, you bring it closer to harvest. And never forget, you are not alone. Each ritual performed, each affirmation spoken, each act of generosity and faith sends ripples through the collective field. The more you engage, the stronger our network becomes. The more likely it is that someone, somewhere, will feel a surge of possibility at the very moment you do. This is not just your story. It is the story of a movement, a community, a new consciousness rising through the most ordinary of elements. So as you keep your salt nearby, on your desk, in your car, beside your bed, let it remind you that abundance is never far away. The field is alive, listening, and always ready to answer the call of those who dare to believe. You are one of them now. You are writing a new story, threading new colors into the tapestry of your life. The magic is in the practice, the power is in your word, and the ritual is the bridge that carries you from longing to fulfillment. Take a moment now, feel the current of this community holding you up. Breathe into the possibility that your next breakthrough is already on its way, and let's continue, step by step, day by day, into a field where prosperity is not a distant hope, but a lived and growing reality. As you continue this practice day after day, something fundamental in your reality begins to change, almost imperceptibly at first, then with a clarity that feels like waking from a dream. The salt becomes more than an object on your desk or a hidden charm in your car. It evolves into a spiritual anchor, a reminder, a witness, a vessel for your deepest intentions. Each morning when you see it, you remember not just your ritual, but the field of possibility it represents. Every glance is a silent agreement with life. I am open, I am ready, I am calling in more. Over time, the ritual seeps into the rhythm of your day. You find yourself touching the salt before leaving the house, pausing a moment before a meeting or an important call. Perhaps you whisper your affirmation quietly in the elevator, or as you sit at a red light, letting the words thread themselves into the music of ordinary moments. These are the places where true change happens, in the details, the small pauses, the intervals between actions. You are no longer separate from the energy you wish to attract. You are a participant, a co-creator, a living conduit for the laws that move the universe. With this, gratitude becomes both a cause and an effect. The more you notice, the more you receive. It's as if every thank you, spoken aloud or felt silently in your heart, acts as a signal flare, lighting up the path for more blessings to find their way to you. You may begin each day by holding your salt and simply saying, "Thank you for what is coming. Thank you for what has already arrived." In that moment, you claim abundance before it manifests, becoming an energetic magnet for new supply. This is the paradox of prosperity. You celebrate before the gift is delivered, and so it arrives even faster, drawn to the vibration of your anticipation. But the ritual is not only for good days. There will be mornings when old doubts return, when life throws you a curve, when something breaks or a bill appears, and you feel the gravity of old fears pulling you back. This is where the true depth of your practice is revealed, not in never wavering, but in always returning. You pick up your salt, take a breath, and repeat your affirmation. You remember Daniel's story and the countless others who kept going despite setbacks, trusting that the unseen is always at work. The salt is there as your anchor, holding the field steady when your mind is shaken. Sometimes, the breakthrough isn't the one you expected. You set an intention for more money, but instead, you receive unexpected support from a friend, a new opportunity for joy, or a sense of peace where there used to be anxiety. Life knows what you truly need, even when you're not certain yourself. Part of the spiritual path is learning to see every blessing, every shift, every surprise as an answer to your prayer. The salt ritual keeps you awake to these moments, so nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. Even setbacks become fuel for deeper faith, a chance to show yourself and the field that your commitment is not dependent on circumstance. You may notice, too, how your relationships shift. When you carry the vibration of gratitude and expectation, the people around you feel it, even if they can't name it. You become easier to help, more pleasant to be around, more receptive to opportunities. Your field interacts with theirs, softening edges, drawing in like-minded souls, and gently repelling situations that no longer match your frequency. The ritual with salt is a private act, but its effects ripple outward, reshaping the way life responds to you. Some days, you will be tempted to skip the practice, to dismiss it as unnecessary or ineffective. You may think, "What's the point? Nothing's changed yet." That is when you need your anchor most. In those moments, go through the motions anyway. Ritual is a language the subconscious understands, even when your conscious mind is tired or skeptical. It's a message that says, "I am still here. I am still choosing. I am still a creator, no matter what the outer world shows." With time, you may find yourself expanding your ritual. Perhaps you add a second affirmation. "Opportunities find me wherever I go." Or you visualize the salt glowing, radiating waves of light and blessing throughout your home or workplace. Maybe you begin to bless the salt with intentions for others, family members, friends, or even strangers who cross your path. Each act of generosity multiplies the power of your field. You realize that the line between your own abundance and that of the world is an illusion. Every blessing sent becomes a channel for even greater return. Let yourself experiment, trust your intuition, and remember that there is no formula for grace. Some keep a notebook beside their salt, recording small synchronicities and unexpected gifts. Others mark special occasions by refreshing the salt or giving some away as a symbol of shared prosperity. What matters is not the object, but the energy, your willingness to meet the day as a partner in creation. You are no longer waiting for proof before you believe. You are living in the direction of your faith. You are building evidence every day, not just in money or material gain, but in the subtle shifts, a lighter step, an easier breath, a new sense of hope that feels less fragile and more like a foundation. This is the real miracle of spiritual prosperity. It changes you from the inside out, until the world can't help but rearrange itself to match the new song you sing. Let yourself rest in this knowing. Every act of devotion, no matter how small, counts. Every day you return to your ritual, you strengthen the current, deepen the groove, and open new space for the field to pour into your life. The salt remains, quietly witnessing your journey, holding the vibration of all you've spoken, dreamed, and dared to claim. With this anchor in place, you are ready for whatever comes. Abundance is not a moment or a sum of money. It is a state of being, a habit of celebration, a way of meeting life with open hands. The practice continues, and so do you. Take another breath, bless your salt, and let's keep moving, step by step, into the ever-expanding spiral of prosperity that you are now a living part of. As you move forward, practicing this ritual day after day, you'll likely begin to notice changes that reach far beyond money itself. The salt, this ordinary substance now charged with your intention, becomes a quiet partner in rewriting your deepest beliefs, not just about prosperity, but about who you are, what you deserve, and what you're capable of inviting into your world. It's as if you're planting a new seed in the field of your subconscious each time you return to your ritual, nurturing a different kind of self-talk, a more generous inner dialogue. Some mornings, the transformation is subtle. You may find yourself pausing before uttering an old phrase, one that kept you rooted in the soil of limitation for years. Maybe, for the first time, you let the words stay unspoken, replaced by a breath, a small smile, or a new affirmation. Abundance is welcome here. I am ready for more. On other days, you might sense a deeper feeling rising up, the quiet realization that the ceiling you thought you'd hit was never really there. That old sense of being stuck, or cursed, or always left out, begins to lose its grip. You realize that prosperity is not reserved for the chosen few, but for all who are willing to claim it, again and again, even when the evidence is not yet clear. Sometimes this shift feels uncomfortable. You may notice resistance, a kind of inner tug-of-war between your old programming and the new frequency you're cultivating. Doubts surface, stories you absorbed from parents, teachers, or the world around you, stories about what's possible, what's realistic, what's deserved. This is all part of the process. The salt ritual is not about bypassing your history, but about gently inviting your subconscious to see a new possibility. Every act of blessing, every touch of the salt, is like a message to the deepest parts of you. It is safe to prosper, safe to release the old contracts, safe to rewrite the script. You may recall memories from childhood, moments when you were taught that money was hard to earn, that wanting more was selfish, or that dreams belonged to other people. Allow those memories to surface, not as obstacles, but as invitations for healing. As you do your ritual, you can even dedicate each act of blessing to your younger self, to all the versions of you who doubted, who waited, who settled. The salt becomes a bridge across time, a way to reach back, hold your own hand, and say, "It's different now. We are building something new together. With every repetition, you are not just breaking your own limits, you're transforming what's possible for those who come after you. Perhaps you have children, siblings, or friends who look to you for inspiration, even if silently. Each time you choose faith over fear, possibility over resignation, you create a new blueprint in the field, a pattern that others can follow, even without knowing the ritual you perform. This is how spiritual prosperity ripples through families, communities, and generations, one quiet act of intention at a time. You'll find that as your inner beliefs shift, the world around you responds in kind. Maybe your conversations about money become easier, less charged. You might notice yourself saying yes to new opportunities, investing in yourself with less hesitation, or even receiving compliments or gifts without feeling guilty or unworthy. The old urge to deflect, to downplay, to shrink, softens. Instead, you begin to receive as naturally as you breathe, understanding that giving and receiving are two sides of the same current. And if ever you find yourself slipping back into old habits, remember, the salt is there as your anchor. It is patient. It doesn't judge the pace of your progress. It simply holds the frequency you've set, always ready to remind you of your new truth. You can always begin again, no matter how many times you falter. Each return to the ritual is a victory, another step in the long, beautiful process of becoming. What's more, you are never alone in this. There is a community, seen and unseen, practicing beside you. Each time you comment, each time you share a breakthrough or even a struggle, you weave a new thread into the collective fabric of prosperity. Others will read your words, feel your courage, and find permission to take their own next step. This is how we heal not only ourselves, but the world around us. Let yourself feel the quiet strength that comes from this shared journey. You are not a single voice shouting into the void, but part of a living choir, each one singing a note of abundance, belonging, and hope. With every blessing, every repetition, every act of faith, you tune the field a little higher, so that prosperity, in all its forms, becomes not just a dream, but a new normal. Let's continue, together, into the next layer of this unfolding practice, opening even wider to the blessings that await, and welcoming prosperity as the birthright of every heart willing to claim it. The more you show up for this ritual, day by day, breath by breath, the more you realize that prosperity is less about the numbers in your account and more about the feeling that accompanies you through every ordinary moment. The salt may sit quietly on your table, in your car, or tucked into your wallet, but its energy ripples outward, weaving a new story into the fabric of your life. You start to notice beauty and abundance in places you once overlooked. A fresh breeze on your way to work, the laughter of a child, a moment of unexpected kindness from a stranger, or the quiet pride in your own heart as you make a decision that would have terrified the old version of you. These are not trivial details. They are the building blocks of a life aligned with spiritual law. Each time you pause to acknowledge the blessing in front of you, no matter how small, you anchor the vibration of gratitude a little deeper into your field. It's as if you are teaching yourself and the universe to recognize and multiply every gift, so that what was once dismissed as luck becomes the new pattern of your days. Sometimes, the shift is as simple as remembering to breathe, to slow down, to trust that you are supported, even when you cannot see how the next need will be met. The salt serves as a reminder that prosperity flows in cycles and seasons, that your only job is to stay open, to remain faithful to your ritual, and to keep noticing the ways abundance arrives, not just in dollars or opportunities, but in energy, health, connection, and peace. As you live in this new awareness, you may find that old anxieties soften. The urgency to get ahead or fix everything right now gives way to a steadier, quieter confidence. You feel yourself more present in your own life, not lost in worries about tomorrow or regrets about yesterday, but awake to the present, where power always lives. When a challenge arises, instead of panicking or retreating, you return to your salt, hold it for a moment, and remember, I have tools, I have faith, I am not alone. Even in difficulty, you become resourceful, able to see possibilities where before there were only obstacles. There will be days when nothing special seems to happen. No windfall, no dramatic sign, just the slow unfolding of life. Yet even in these moments, the ritual continues its quiet work beneath the surface, rearranging patterns, healing old wounds, and inviting your nervous system to rest in a new baseline of trust. Over time, these ordinary days become the foundation for extraordinary outcomes. You wake one morning to find that the life you're living is one you once dreamed about, a life not defined by fear or scarcity, but by an undercurrent of ease, belonging, and quiet celebration. You may also notice that your generosity grows. As you experience more abundance, in any form, you naturally feel inspired to share it, with your words, your attention, your resources, or even by offering a pinch of salt and a blessing to someone else beginning their own journey. This is the true cycle of prosperity: giving, receiving, circulating the good you've received so that it never stagnates but continues to grow, returning multiplied from unexpected sources. Sometimes you'll want to mark these moments, perhaps lighting a candle, playing your favorite song, or taking a few minutes to journal about a recent blessing or insight. These acts are not requirements, but ways of celebrating progress and acknowledging the living, breathing relationship you are building with the field. Every gesture, every ritual, every story you share adds another thread to the tapestry of your new life. In the process, you become more gentle with yourself. You forgive the days when you feel doubt, or forget your practice, or fall back into old habits. Rather than seeing these as failures, you come to recognize them as invitations, opportunities to recommit, to return to your salt and your intention, and to remember that you are always allowed to begin again. The field never closes its door to you. Abundance does not punish or judge, it simply waits for your willingness to return. Through it all, the community remains, a quiet chorus cheering you on, a source of inspiration when you feel stuck, a place to share your victories and your struggles. You may find that your presence encourages others more than you know, that your testimony gives courage to someone else walking the same path. In this way, your ritual becomes both personal and collective, a spark that ignites countless other lights, each one illuminating a new possibility in the world. Let yourself rest in this truth. Prosperity is not just a future you hope to reach, but a presence you can feel, touch, and live right now, in the small choices, the daily rituals, the moments of gratitude and faith. The salt is your reminder that the sacred is never far away, that every act of devotion, no matter how simple, is seen and answered by the field. As you move forward, keep noticing the signs. Celebrate every gain, honor every challenge, and allow the ritual to carry you even deeper into the mystery and miracle of your own unfolding abundance. There is more to come, more to discover, and more to receive, and you are exactly where you need to be, right here, right now. The days roll on, and as you continue, something shifts so quietly that you might not even notice it at first. The ritual you began as an experiment, maybe even with skepticism, becomes as natural as breathing. The salt, once just a symbol or a curiosity, is now a living companion, a small, shining point of contact with something so much greater than yourself. You may find yourself touching it absent-mindedly during a stressful moment, or whispering a blessing as you pass by, no longer needing to force the practice. It's simply there, woven into the rhythm of your life. And with that integration comes a new layer of freedom. You begin to realize that prosperity is no longer a distant goal or an occasional windfall, but a way of moving through the world, a posture, a presence, a song you carry wherever you go. It's in the easy confidence with which you speak about your dreams, in the steady hope that underlies your decisions, in the compassion you offer to others and yourself. You trust yourself more. You become less shaken by setbacks, less tempted to compare your journey to anyone else's. Instead, you notice how quickly you return to center, how the salt and the ritual bring you back to alignment, again and again. It's here, in this unfolding, that you discover perhaps the greatest secret of all. Abundance is a field you cultivate from within. No amount of effort, no outer achievement can substitute for the inner permission you give yourself to receive, to enjoy, to expand. The salt practice is the tool, the entry point. But what truly changes your life is the growing certainty that you deserve to be supported, that you are welcome in the flow of increase, and that your desires are not selfish but sacred invitations for the universe to express itself through you. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. Life will still offer its lessons. There will still be days when old worries whisper at the edges of your mind, when bills come due, or when you feel momentarily stretched thin. But you carry yourself differently through it all. Challenges are no longer punishments or signs that you've done something wrong. They're simply part of the journey, invitations to go deeper, to return to your anchor and reaffirm your trust. You become curious about what new blessing is on the other side of difficulty. You meet each moment as an opportunity, not an obstacle. You also find yourself celebrating the victories of others as if they were your own. Envy and comparison give way to appreciation and inspiration. You see that the field is infinite, that one person's gain is not your loss, but proof of what's possible. You bless your friends, your colleagues, even strangers with a quiet prayer for their increase, knowing that every wish you send out is a signal to the universe of your readiness to receive. The more you root yourself in this consciousness, the more you become a magnet for kindness, generosity, and unexpected fortune. People around you begin to notice. They may not comment directly on the salt or the ritual, but they sense something different. A calmness, a glow, a sense of ease. You might find friends asking for advice, colleagues wondering about your newfound energy, or loved ones expressing how safe and inspired they feel in your presence. This is the true legacy of spiritual prosperity. You become an example, a lighthouse, showing by your very being what's possible when someone chooses to partner with the field, to nurture faith, to celebrate the abundance already present. At this stage, giving and receiving flow more freely. You trust your intuition about when to give, how much, and to whom. You circulate your resources with a light touch, not out of obligation or fear, but from a place of genuine desire to see others lifted up. You notice that what you send out always returns, often in forms you never could have predicted. An unexpected opportunity, a surge of creativity, the support you need at the perfect moment. Life becomes a dance of generosity, both inward and outward, rooted in the understanding that what you nurture in the field multiplies by nature. If setbacks occur, you know now not to panic, not to abandon your practice or curse your fate. Instead, you become even more gentle with yourself, using each challenge as a chance to strengthen your trust, to double down on gratitude, to ask what new wisdom or gift is waiting in disguise. The salt, ever patient, receives your hopes, your doubts, your prayers without judgment, always offering the same silent invitation: begin again. As this consciousness deepens, you find your boundaries softening in the most beautiful way. Where you once closed yourself off in fear or self-protection, you now open in trust. You find joy in collaboration, satisfaction in simple pleasures, and peace in moments of solitude. You realize that prosperity is not a finish line, but a journey, one that unfolds one small act of faith at a time, in every room you enter, in every conversation, in every ordinary and extraordinary day. And so, you carry your salt with you, not as a crutch, but as a badge of remembrance. You have become the living evidence of your own practice, a participant in the mystery of abundance, a quiet revolutionary rewriting the laws of what's possible, starting from within. Let yourself linger here, breathing in this new normal. Let yourself notice the blessings already present, the gifts already seeded, the field already alive with your intention. The spiral of prosperity continues, and with every breath, every step, every ritual, you rise higher, becoming more yourself, more abundant, more at home in a world that is finally reflecting back the truth you have claimed. Let's keep going. There is still more to unfold, more to receive, and more to give as you become the living channel of prosperity, by word, by ritual, by presence, and by heart. And so we arrive at the threshold, the place where your journey with the salt ritual, with these universal laws of prosperity, completes one sacred circle and invites you to begin another. As you look back on the path you've traveled, allow yourself to see the difference, not just in the world around you, but in the way you move, the way you hope, the way you trust the unfolding of each day. Remember that moment when you first considered trying something new, a pinch of salt, a whispered affirmation, an act of faith that perhaps felt a little foolish or uncertain. Maybe it was Daniel's story that nudged you forward, or the gentle encouragement of a community growing in courage, one person at a time. However you began, however many doubts you carried, you kept going. You let yourself become a vessel for something ancient and generous. Now, the salt is more than a ritual. It is a witness to the story you are writing, one choice at a time, one breath, one act of faith that builds upon the next. You've seen how prosperity is not a single event, but an atmosphere, a rhythm that builds with every repetition, every moment of gratitude, every act of generosity. You have learned that abundance is not measured only in numbers or possessions, but in your growing sense of sufficiency, your willingness to receive, your readiness to celebrate the good that already exists. The ritual has become a companion, a gentle guide, a reminder that you are always one decision away from returning to the field, to the spiral, to the deeper law that governs every miracle. What you may not have expected is how deeply this practice would transform your relationship with yourself. Through the blessing of salt, you have learned to bless your own story, to forgive your delays and doubts, to cherish your small victories. The old voice that insisted you must be perfect or worthy or have everything figured out now grows quieter. In its place rises a new voice, the voice of acceptance, of encouragement, of a faith that does not require evidence to sing its song. And you are not alone. Around the world, others are walking this same spiral, holding their own salt, speaking their own blessings, anchoring their own prosperity with each act of devotion. Every time you return to your ritual, you strengthen the current not only for yourself, but for every heart tuning into this frequency. Your journey adds light to the field. Your presence gives permission for others to rise. As you move into the days ahead, let the ritual remain simple, alive, and yours. There is no finish line, no final test, no gatekeeper at the door of abundance. There is only the next step, the next breath, the next opportunity to remember who you are and what you deserve. Each time you bless your salt, you bless your future. Each time you notice the abundance around you, you multiply its presence. Each time you give, whether it's a word, a dollar, a moment of kindness, you circulate the field, ensuring that increase finds its way back to you in ever-surprising forms. If you wish, you might share your own testimony. In the comments below, let the world know how this journey has touched you. Maybe a single line, a small shift you felt, a blessing that arrived, a change in your heart or home. In sharing, you become part of the living community, adding your note to the song of collective prosperity that grows with every voice, every ritual, every return. Remember, too, that this field is always open. If you falter, if you forget, if you lose your way for a day or a week or a season, the ritual waits with open hands, ready for your return. There is no punishment, only invitation. Each beginning is sacred. Each attempt is honored. Each step draws the spiral a little wider, a little brighter, a little more welcoming for all who are seeking. Let yourself celebrate how far you've come. Take a deep breath, hold your salt, and honor the work you've done, not only for yourself, but for everyone you love, everyone who will feel the ripple of your new vibration. Say to yourself, quietly or aloud, I am the living channel of prosperity. I receive, I give, I bless, I multiply. This is my time, my rhythm, my spiral of abundance. As this journey closes, know that the real magic was never in the salt itself, but in the intention, the faith, the daily act of choosing to believe in more. You are not the same person who started. You are more present, more trusting, more aware of the sacred power you carry. And wherever you go next, you carry the field with you. Let's seal this journey together. Take one final breath, feeling the unity of all those practicing beside you, and whisper, the spiral is complete. My abundance is anchored. It is done. May these words echo in your days, your dreams, your future, and may every return to this ritual remind you, the field of prosperity is always open, always ready, always yours to claim. Thank you for walking this spiral, for daring to believe, for blessing the world with your faith. This is not an ending, but a new beginning. Go forth, bless, receive, and multiply. The song continues, the light grows, and your story inspires the next. It is done.